Batteries fully charged. Launch ready for AEW Spark in 3, 2, 1. All Elite Wrestling discussion is live. Cue host Owen Finch.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to AEW Spark for what's probably going to end up being July 24th, 2022. But I'm recording this on July 23rd, 2022, so Death Before Dishonor has not happened yet. The reason why I'm going to wait a day to release this, though, is because it takes a while for it to edit on my computer and things like that, so I would rather wait, because I'm going to ROH Death Before Dishonor tonight, and I don't want to have to deal with the annoyance of having to have this edit while I'm away, because I'm leaving at like 1:30 to beat traffic and things like that. So let's talk about this week's content in AEW, because it was the last week of Fyter Fest, so it was a pretty big show. It was the go-home week before ROH Death Before Dishonor, so let's get into it. So we're going to start off with AEW Elevation, which was either episode 71 or 72. According to my notes, it's 71, but it could have very well have been 72. You had some decent matches on the show. It started off with Bobby Fish versus Blake Lee. Bobby Fish just easily destroyed Blake Lee. He worked over his legs throughout much of the match. He actually ended up hitting a dragon screw into the guardrail, which was cool. And he ended up making him tap out to a knee bow, so that was pretty decent stuff. I'm guessing Bobby Fish really isn't hurt. They just can't find a storyline for him right now, since Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole are both hurt, so that's probably why he was just on Elevations. But it keeps him, on the winning ways, I guess. Then we had a tag match. It was Nyla Rose and Marina Shafir versus Sky Blue and Brittany. It was a decent tag match when Marina Shafir wasn't in the match, because there was some scary moments of Marina Shafir. Like, she hit a German suplex on Sky Blue and nearly dropped her on her shoulder. That was pretty scary. And then eventually, the heels ended up winning. Nyla Rose made Brittany tap out to some type of knee ball or something, so there was that. Then we had Amber Nova versus Julia Hart. This was a pretty good match. It was mainly a squash. Julia Hart just destroyed her. Really nothing to say about that. And then we had Leon Ruffin versus Ethan Page. This ended up being actually really good match. The crowd really got into Leon Ruffin. They really wanted him to win. And there were points I actually thought he was going to win, but it was not to be. Ethan Page ended up winning with the Ego's Edge, so that's a shame. Then we had Terrence and Terrell Hughes, Devon Sons versus Evil Uno and Ten. Pretty good tag match here. Evil Uno and Ten ended up getting the win, though. I believe Ten made one of them tap out to the full Nelson, so there you go. Then we had Angelico, the Butcher, and the Blade versus Jamison Ryan, Brandon Bullock, and Bryce Cannon. This was an easy victory for Angelico, the Butcher, and the Blade. Angelico made one of the guys tap out to his heel hook, or reverse figure four anyways. Then we had the main event. It was John Walters versus Tony Nese, and Tony Nese won with the running Nese, but they made John Walters look like a decent threat. He's like an ROH veteran, so I think they wanted to give him some offense, and that's exactly what happened, so that was cool. And that was pretty much Elevation. Really nothing to talk about, but you had a really good match between Leon Ruffin and Ethan Page, so I would definitely check that out. Then we had AEW Dark, which was episode 152. I forgot to mention on commentary, by the way, for Dark. I believe it was Excalibur, Caprice Coleman, and that's it. So yeah. Then we had a AEW Dark episode 152 or 153, depending on if my notes are on. We had the commentary team of Excalibur and Taz. It kicked off with Luke Sampson versus Jara Joel. Jaro Joe looked really aggressive in this match. Eventually, he ended up winning with a running pump big boot, and that was that. Then we had Ren Jones versus Lee Moriarty. Pretty good stuff here. Lee Moriarty ended up getting the win when he made him tap out to the crossface. Then we had Serena Deeb versus Vivian Van. Serena Deeb made her tap out to the Serenity Lock, and then afterwards she laid her out with a finisher. Then we had to send a message to Mercedes Martinez for going into the ROH Women's World Championship match. Then we had Marina Shafir versus Amber Nova. Marina Shafir looked better in this match than the tag match. She ended up making Amber Nova tap out to a triangle choke. Then we had Anthony Henry versus Konosuke Takeshita. This was a really good match here. Both guys looked really strong in this match. Konosuke Takeshita hits a wicked German suplex on Anthony Henry. That was cool. Then eventually Anthony Henry started to get the heat on him, and then eventually Konosuke Takeshita hit a running high knee for the win. But this was a really good match here. I definitely recommend it. We had Jonathan Gresham versus Jordan Oasis. Jonathan Gresham tapped him out with the octopus stretch. Then we had Willie Yuta versus Bryce Donovan. Bryce Donovan got some nice offense here, but Willie Yuta ended up winning with the German suplex with a bridge. Then we had Danhausen versus Jake Something. Jake Something destroyed Danhausen throughout much of the match, but then Danhausen cursed him and then beat him with a roll-up, which made sense and was funny. Then we had Anthony Bro versus Anthony Bro and Valentina Rossi versus Charlotte and Robert Renegade. The Renegade sisters won when they pulled Twin Magic, and Tony Giovanni tried to question them on it, but they weren't having it. Then we had Mercedes Martinez versus J-Rod. Mercedes Martinez tapped her out with a Dragon Sleeper into Surfbird stretch. And then afterwards, her and Serena Deeb have a face-off since they're facing off tonight for the ROH Women's World Championship. Then we had Terrence and Terrell Hughes versus the Varsity Blondes. The Varsity Blondes were extra aggressive in this matchup, and they ended up pulling out the victory. Then we had Fuego del Sol versus QT Marshall. Earlier in the show, Fuego del Sol did an interview, and he talked about how it was a year ago around this time that him and QT Marshall had a barn burner of a match on AEW Dark. And even though QT Marshall has taken the factory and made them a success, he wants to become a success by defeating QT Marshall. So they had this excellent match here. Like, it was really good. Like, it's probably like one of the best matches I've seen these two have in a while. It was really back and forth. The factory kept interfering in the match, which allowed Matt Sydal and Dante Mountain to run out, and they brawled to the back. And there were various points you really didn't know who was going to win this match. Fuego del Sol nearly got the win with a 450, but eventually he went for another 450, and QT Marshall caught him into a diamond cutter and got the win. That didn't look the smoothest. I think they were trying to go for the Randy Orton, Evan Bourne spot, but it really didn't work. But still, QT Marshall won, which I was fine with. I thought Fuego del Sol looked really strong still, even in defeat, so that was fine. This was a great match, though. Definitely check it out. Then we had Jay Lethal versus Logan Cruz. Jay Lethal won with the lethal injection, and then taunted Samoa Joe some more. Then we had the main event. It was an ROH Pure Wolves match. It was Alan Five Angels versus Daniel Garcia. This was Alan Five Angels' first appearance since he left AEW. I'm going to guess because he's been showing up on New Japan Strong and everything like that, that he's still going to make appearances on Dark and Thins. I don't know if he's ever going to be on like Dynamite or Rampage ever again, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, really good match here. Alan Five Angels exhausted all of his rope breaks, so he ended up being his own doing. And eventually, Daniel Garcia locked him in a sleeper hold. And he, while he was on the turnbuckle, and since there was no more rope breaks for Alan Five Angels, he ended up going out. But it was a really exciting match. I really enjoyed it. Afterwards, Daniel Garcia went to further the attack. He went to hit him, lock him into the sharpshooter. but then eventually Willie Yuta ran out, and they ended up brawling. Willie Yuta hit a dive onto him, and they had to be separated. This was a nice way to build to the ROH Pure Championship match coming up tonight, so I really enjoyed that. And then it followed right up. We had a countdown show before ROH Death Before Dishonor, and it was great stuff. Like all the countdown shows, it showed the build up to all the title matches that are going to be on the show. It was really exciting. Definitely the thing I would recommend watching is the sit down interview that Caprice Coleman does with Daniel Garcia and Willie Yuta, where they just kind of talk about the Pure Championship match. Willie Yuta brought up the fact that Daniel Garcia was in a car accident and how he's a sports entertainer. He can't handle the Pure Rules match, but Daniel Garcia talked about how Willie Yuta is just a lame version of Daniel Garcia. It's really good stuff. I would definitely recommend it. Then going on to AEW Dynamite Fyter Fest Night 3. We had Excalibur, Taz, and Tony Schiavone on commentary for hour 1. Then in hour 2, Jim Ross replaced Tony Schiavone. It kicked off with Darby Allin versus Brody King. This was great. I really enjoyed this match. Darby Allin immediately started off aggressive. He had a drop kick. He went for the suicide dive on the outside, but he ended up getting caught on the ropes, which allowed Brody King to counter it, and he threw him right into the barricade and right into the post. And Brody King just started destroying Darby Allin throughout the beginning portions of this matchup. Eventually, Darby Allin took his belt off and ended up wrapping Brody King up, and he really went on the attack. He had a suicide dive onto the outside. Darby Allin ended up hitting a really cool coffin drop. Well, it wasn't exactly a coffin drop, but more like a free fall into the outside as well. Brody King ended up hitting a sleeper hold and throwing Darby Allin into the guardrail. Darby Allin ended up hitting a guillotine into a sleeper hold, which was cool. And then the finish was really cool. Brody King did the exact same sleeper hold that he did at Royal Rampage and knocked Darby Allin to the floor. And Darby Allin nearly got counted out, but he just ended up beating the 10 count. And then eventually he ended up hitting the Gonzo Buster for the win. And Brody King won, which I expected to happen because I figured they would want to make House of Black look strong. And I don't really think if they want to start this feud, there's really no reason for Darby Allin to get a win right now. Then afterwards, Brody King continued the attack onto Darby Allin. Then Sting came out and he attacked Brody King. He went for the Scorpion Death Drop, but the lights went out. And I like that you could still hear as if Sting laid him out with a Scorpion Death Drop anyways, but instead I think he just ended up just not dropping him, but letting go of the hold. And then Malachi Black was in the ring. He spit black mist into the eyes of Sting, and then he was laid out. And eventually Miro came out, and I like this here because you really don't know what Miro is going to do because they've been teasing the fact that he's either going to feud with the House of Black or join them. And he just kind of had a face off, and Malachi Black had an evil smile on his face, and you're really not sure what's going to happen. I don't think he is going to join the House of Black, but I like that they teased it here. So this was really good stuff. I really enjoyed the opening of Dynamite. Might have been my favorite thing that's happened all week. Then we had Best Friends versus Jon Moxley and Willie Yuta. This was really good stuff here. I really enjoyed the storytelling elements of this match because, obviously it was Best Friends that ended up training Willie Yuta. So it was really cool that they finally did a match. I wish they did this match a while ago when, Willie Yuta had just joined the Blackpool Combat Club, but it is what it is. You had William Regal and Orange Cassidy on commentary for it in replacement of Tony Schiavone, which I'm glad they kind of got him out of there just because there would have been too many cooks in the kitchen. Orange Cassidy didn't say all that much, which was funny. And this was just a really excited matchup. It was mainly a showcase for Willie Yuta. Jon Moxley, while he was in the match, he really didn't do a whole lot in the match. best friends were really aggressive towards Willa Yuta. They were shoving him a lot throughout this matchup, and especially Trent. They got the heat on Willa Yuta for a while, and then eventually Moxley got the hot tag. He started cleaning house, and then eventually he tagged back in Willa Yuta, and eventually Willa Yuta beat Chuck Taylor with the seatbelt, which is funny because Orange Cassidy made mention that Willa Yuta taught him that move, and he just got pissed and walked off commentary, and that was it. Really not sure what's going to happen here. If they're going to do a match maybe between Orange Cassidy and Willa Yuta, I would like to see that, or maybe Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley for the interim AEW World Championship, because I read online that CM Punk's really not due to be back for a while. Like, he may not even be back to All Out, which is that's a really long time. So they may not even do that championship unification match until then. And we have Battle of the Belts coming up. I don't know if they're going to want to defend that interim AEW World Championship. They haven't defended the world title at the past few Battle of the Belt shows, but maybe they will this time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, I really enjoyed the tag match. It was one of the highlights of the night. Then we had the championship celebration for Swerve and Our Glory, and they cut about the same promo that they cut after they won the titles, which was cool. They had what's his name, Kevin Gates out there, who's like a close friend of Swerve Strickland, which was cool to see him. And then Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling interrupted it and tried to force Kevin Gates to sign the petition to get rid of Swerve Strickland off of Dynamite. Instead, he just decked Tony Nese, and Swerve Strickland threw the cake into Smart Mark Sterling's face, and that was that. This was a fun segment. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. I'm not sure what it's building to. If we're going to have, maybe Tony Nese will find a tag team partner, and Swerve and Our Glory will defend the belts against them. Because I don't really know who you have challenge for them right now. But we'll have to wait and see. Then we had the Varsity Blondes versus the Alto Express, which is Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. This was really a squash. Luchasaurus just destroyed both guys, hit both guys with choke slams. Then Christian Cage tagged himself in and got the win off of Brian Pillman Jr. And then afterwards, Christian Cage had Luchasaurus hold him up on his shoulder. Christian Cage up on his shoulders like he used to Jungle Boy. And then Jungle Boy returned with a steel chair, and Luchasaurus was standing in the way. He went outside the ring and stood in between Christian Cage and Jungle Boy. And this was the moment here where Luchasaurus had to make a decision. Was he going to stick by his friend Jungle Boy, or was the manipulation by Christian Cage going to be too much? And Luchasaurus stepped aside and let Jungle Boy go after Christian Cage. And I like this a lot. You know, I like that they didn't go the predictable route where Christian Cage has Luchasaurus manipulated to the point where, he's going to go against his friend Jungle Boy. I love that they had Luchasaurus show he had a mind of his own. So I really enjoyed this. I could see something happening next week where Christian Cage tries to manipulate Luchasaurus, and it's like a fight for Luchasaurus. And eventually Luchasaurus sticks by Jungle Boy, and we get a match maybe between Christian Cage and Luchasaurus on an episode of Dynamite, and then All Out we'll get Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage. Maybe Christian Cage will put another heavy in. They could do a lot of stuff. This could be Christian Cage's last storyline that he has as a wrestler. Just because I really don't know what else he can really do. I could see him just transitioning into a manager role, and that would be that, which I'd be okay with. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Then we had Ricky Starks defending the FTW championship against Cole Carter. This is Two Dimes from NXT 2.0. He did a promo backstage. It really wasn't a good promo, but to be fair, he hasn't really had to cut a lot of promos, so it's what it is. And Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs interrupted him. They referenced the fact that he was killed by Tony D when he said he was sleeping with the fishes. And which I'm wondering if they're going to blend that up on NXT now that, he's shown up on Dynamite, because typically if you show up on Dynamite, it's like you never existed in WWE. But I'm not going to watch NXT, so I won't really have an answer. But Cole Carter shut him up, and they actually had a really good match for the FTW Championship. I was kind of surprised by it because I've never really seen Cole Carter wrestle before. Even though, yes, he was in the match at NXT in your house when he teamed up with the family to go against Legado del Fantasma, but it's really tough because he was in such a bad gimmick. It was really tough to judge him as a wrestler and stuff, but here he looked really good. I'm wondering what he did to get fired from WWE, because it really must not have been that bad if AEW was just fine to have him show up here. But honestly, that's TBD. Eventually, though, Ricky Starks beat him with a spear and retained the FTW Championship. Then afterwards, he cut a promo and said that he was going to have another open challenge. And then Danhausen accepted, but Ricky Starks says it's for next week. So next week is Fight for the Fallen. I'm going to be there live for that show, which I'm really excited about. And we're going to get Ricky Starks versus Danhausen for the FTW title. I'm really excited to see that match. Then we had FTR do a promo. Cash Wheeler talked about how they've worked really hard to become one of the best tag teams in all of professional wrestling, and they're not going to let anybody, FTR is not going to let anybody take any of the championships that they're currently holding, be in the ROH, AAA, or New Japan Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. And then Dax Howard cut this amazing promo where he talked about how his daughter, when she was 8 years old, or when she was young, I don't think it was when she was 8, had a hole in her heart, and then that would have had to be operated on had she not worked to get rid of it, and she ended up doing just that, and she said that at Death Before Dishonor, they're going to face the Briscoes, and they're going to fight like 8-year-old girls. So this was really good promo. Probably the best promo I think FTR has ever cut, ever. And that's saying a lot, because they've cut some great promos. Then we had Jade Cargill and Kara Hogan with Stokely Hathaway versus Athena and Willow Nightingale. Backstage, they did an interview where it was revealed that Chris Statlander was banned from ringside from this match, so that's why they went with the traditional tag match. I don't know where Layla Gray was, because I think this was supposed to be a 6-woman tag, but they said she wasn't medically cleared to wrestle. I don't know what happened there, but we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, it was a really good tag match. Everybody served their purpose very well. Eventually, Jade Cargill hit a big boot to Athena, sending her neck first into the steps. And then eventually she tagged herself in, hit the Jaded on Willow Nightingale for the win, and stayed undefeated in her hometown. She was accompanied by some, rapper or something. I forget who it was, but he was like a temporary baddie for the night. And then that was pretty much it. I thought they would have done something here where they would have had Willow Nightingale turn heel and be a baddie. I thought that would have been cool, but they didn't do it. Which I wish they had. Then Thunderstorm did an interview, and this is where we found out that Thunder Rosa is going to defend the AEW Women's World Championship at Fight for the Fallen against Miya Yamashita, who beat her on AEW Dark like a week ago. So we're going to finally have that title match. Then Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel came up and said that the women's division desperately needs her, and said that they're going to be on Rampage this week in a tag match. It was really weird because they made it seem like that the tag match was going to be Thunder Rosa and Thunderstorm versus Jamie Hayter and Jamie and Dr. Britt Baker, but that was not the case. So that was kind of weird how they set that up. Other things that happened on the show was the Gun Club did an interview, and Austin Gunn challenged Matt Caster to a rap battle, and whoever wins the rap battle, we get to pick the time and place for the match and the stipulation. And then Dark Order, the Butcher, and the Blade did an interview backstage where, John Silver made fun of Butcher and the Blade by revealing T-shirts called Butch. I don't know if this is a reference to Pete Dunne's new name in WWE, but whatever. The Butcher and the Blade attacked them. They sent Alex Reynolds head first into a concrete wall, and Heyman Adam Page made the save, which set up a tag match with Heyman Adam Page and John Silver versus the Butcher and the Blade. Then Jay Lethal did an interview talking about his ROH World Television Championship match with Samoa Joe, and Christopher Daniels came up and challenged him to a match on Rampage, so that was exciting. Then we had the main event. It was the barbed wire everywhere death match with the rest of the Jericho Appreciation Society suspended above the ring in a shark cage. It was Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. This was a great match here. I really enjoyed it. It was about what you expected, and there was legit barbed wire everywhere. There was barbed wire on the mics, barbed wire on the wind bell. It was really cool how they went all out for it. Eddie Kingston immediately grabbed the mic that Justin Roberts was using and bashed Jericho over the head with it, busting him open right away. He just destroyed Jericho throughout the beginning portions of this matchup, hitting him with a chair wrapped in barbed wire, using barbed wire itself. Eventually, Jericho got the heat. He got Eddie Kingston into the walls of Jericho. He threw him through a table that was wrapped in barbed wire. Jericho ended up doing the same to Chris Jericho. Eventually, Ruby Soho, who was like the keeper of the key of the shark cage, got attacked by Ty Conti from behind, and Anna Jay pulled her off, and you didn't really know what Anna Jay was going to do here. Eventually, she ended up turning heel, attacking Ruby Soho, and she ended up gaining control of the shark cage, which I did hear people who went to the show say that the shark cage was a pain in the ass because of the way it was set up. If you were like behind the shark cage, you couldn't see anything in the ring. You had to watch the match on the screens, which sounds like a pain in the ass. But she dropped the shark cage, which set out the Jericho Appreciation Society. It really didn't end up mattering. I think they did mess this up a little bit because they couldn't get Ty Conti couldn't get the door open, so they ended up just having to go through the shark cage, at least some of them, anyways. And then they attacked Eddie Kingston, which led to the Blackpool Combat Club coming out and attacking the Jericho Appreciation Society. And then eventually the match continued. Eddie Kingston hit the spinning back fist, but Jericho kicked out. He wrapped his hand in Jericho's hand in barbed wire, actually, and was going to do this, and did the submission move that he made Jericho tap out to at Revolution. But Sammy Guevara came out, and Eddie Kingston wrestled him for a bit. And then eventually Jericho hit the Judas effect with the barbed wire. So Jericho hit the Judas effect with the barbed wire wrapped around his hand, and defeated Eddie Kingston in the barbed wire everywhere match. I really didn't agree with this decision. I think Eddie Kingston should have gone over. He's been beaten down so often by the Jericho Appreciation Society. I know he beat Chris Jericho at Revolution, but I think the time for Eddie Kingston to get the win was right here. You know, the Jericho Appreciation Society has made his life a living hell. They beat up his friends and everything. Everything was leading to Eddie Kingston winning. I don't understand why they didn't have him go over here. It just really didn't make any sense. I mean, they're probably going to do like a third match at All Out. Maybe he'll win there, but I think the time for Eddie Kingston to win was right here, right now. This felt like a blow-off match, and he should have won. Then afterwards, he ended up just throwing Jericho through like the platform anyways. So maybe that's why they're going to continue it. Like Jericho's going to realize that he has to really end Eddie Kingston. So that would be that. Like I said, maybe they'll do an I Quit match or something at All Out, but we'll have to wait and see. That was Dynamite, though. Let's talk about Rampage, which I just watched a few minutes ago. So for Rampage, we had Jim Ross, Excalibur, and Shivani on commentary for it. It kicked off with the tag match. It was the Butcher and the Blade versus Heyman Adam Page and John Silver. This was a good tag match here. Really no complaints about it. They got the heat on John Silver for a bit, then Adam Page got the hot tag, then they got the heat on him, then Silver got the hot tag, and then eventually just spilled into chaos, and Adam Page beat the Blade with the buckshot lariat. Really no complaints there. We really need to start to find a storyline for Heyman Adam Page. I feel like he has had nothing going on since he lost that four-way match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. We need to find a storyline for him, whether that's start to tease dissension between him and the Dark Order, or have him maybe go for the interim AEW belt since he's not hasn't gotten a rematch for it. Then it showed some more build up for the ROH Pure Championship. Just kind of adding some fuel to the fire, which I enjoyed. Then we had Claudio Castagnoli do a promo talking about how his entire career he's believed he's the best technical wrestler in professional wrestling, whether he's been a world champion or not. But he's going to finally prove that by becoming ROH world champion. I really hope that he does, but I'm going to give my predictions in a second to ROH Death Before Dishonor. Then Wardlow did a promo basically challenging anyone to take his TNT title from him. Then we had Lee Moriarty versus Dante Moulton. This was a great match here. Lee Moriarty and Dante Moulton had really good chemistry. Dante Moulton hit a full Nelson into like a rock bottom. Lee Moriarty ended up getting the crossface in, but Dante Moulton got to the ropes. During the match, Stokely Hathaway came out. Then Lee Moriarty rolled up Dante Moulton, hold the ropes, and got the win. So he cheated to get the win. So it's showing signs maybe he's turning heel. Then Matt Sydal challenged him to a match on Rampage Fight for the Fallen, which I'm excited to see that. Then we had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Jamie Hayter with Rebel versus Sky Blue and Ashley D'Ambrose. It was really a squash match here. DMD, Britt Baker, and Jamie Hayter just squashed him. Really nothing to it. Then it showed a vignette for Arya Daivari, whose name's now going to be spelled A-R-I and then just Daivari. It looks like he's going to be this rich guy now. So I'm interested to see what they do with that. Then we had the rap battle between Matt Casser and Austin Gunn. I'm not really going to talk about all that much because it's really just worth going out of your way to watch for yourself. But they really didn't hold any punches here. Austin Gunn brought up everything to the fact that Matt Castor was Bobby Lashley's sister on Raw at one time, which I remember him being at one point. The fact that, he was dating Chris Statlander and couldn't keep her happy, and all that stuff. The fact that his dad was like a football player whose career didn't last as long as his dad's did. Matt Castor brought up everything, how Austin Gunn had a failed ROH run. The fact that he's always been ass boys, and basically Matt Castor was just owning him all over the place. Eventually, when Austin Gunn could have come up with a response, Matt Castle ended up winning the rap battle, but the Gun Club attacked the Acclaimed, and they laid him out with the finish, and Austin Gunn hit Matt Castle with a trash can. So since the Acclaimed won the match, they're going to be able to pick the stipulation for the match that they have and when it happens. So I imagine it's going to happen, maybe not next week, but like the week after. And it will be like an ODQ match or something like that. Maybe some type of match that has to do with like rap, but it's like an ODQ match. Then we had the main event. It was Christopher Daniels versus Jay Lethal. Very good match here. It's about what you expect to see these two have. Eventually, Lethal won with the lethal injection. And then afterwards, Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt further attacked Christopher Daniels, and they locked him into the rear naked choke. Sending a message to Samoa Joe. No Samoa Joe appearance, which was really weird. Like, I thought he would have shown up here to have one final hype before ROH Death Before Dishonor, but it was not to be. It was really an interesting choice. And it's not like he couldn't be here because he was on the Countdown show, like doing things for it. So I don't understand why they didn't have him come out here. But it was really interesting. And that was Rampage. And if I had to give a grade for the AEW stuff this week, this is probably going to be the lowest grade I've given it, but I'm going to give it a B plus. Uh, I think the thing that really held back AEW was Eddie Kingston not beating Chris Jericho. And I thought Rampage was kind of a middle of the road show this week. Um, and you know, but yeah, they still had some great stuff on it. Um, I don't think the woman will really showcase all that well either. I don't think he even had a women's match on AEW Dynamite this week that I can even think of. Um, I think it was just. Oh, I guess yeah. You had the Chris Statlander, uh, Athena match or whatever. So I guess he did have one. But yeah, the fact that I didn't remember it kind of shows the problems. Uh, Now I'm going to do my predictions for this week's stuff coming up for AEW. I'm going to start with Death Before Dishonor, so that's going to be airing first. I'm really excited about it, mainly because I'm going to be at the show. So I imagine that we're going to have some fun stuff on the show. We have a total of 11 matches. There's going to be 3 pre-show matches, but to me, it's going to be all. Since I'm live, I won't even notice it's a pre-show match, so whatever. But yeah, let's start by talking about it. We have Allison Kay versus Willow Nightingale. I think that's an easy victory for Willow Nightingale. She's the one that's being showcased on AEW every week, or most weeks. Unless Allison Kay signs a contract, she could go over. Because I know she's done a match in the past for AEW when the NWA Women's World Championship was being defended. But I think that's an easy victory for Willow Nightingale. We have Colt Cabana versus Anthony Henry. This is going to be Colt Cabana's first wrestling appearance since, I think, ROH Supercard of Honor. We haven't seen him in a while. I think that's an easy victory for Colt Cabana. I think Anthony Henry is going to have a really good showing in the match, but I think Colt Cabana is going to get a victory here. Then we have the Shinobu Shadow Squad, which consists of Cheeseburger and Al Ism. I don't know if that's how you say that. Versus the Trustbusters, which is Arya Daivari and Slim J. These are 2 brand new tag teams that we've really never heard of. So it's well, maybe not the case of the Cheeseburgers tag team, but in the case of the Trustbusters. As for who wins this, I'm going to go with the Trustbusters just because they just recently did a vignette for Arya Daivari, so I'd imagine they want to follow that up by having him have a victory. So I'm going to predict that they win. Then we have Tully Blanchard Enterprises, which is going to be represented by Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony versus Alex Zane, Blake Christian, and Tony Deppen. I think this will be a really good match, actually. I really like Blake Christian, Alex Zane, and Brian Cage. And the Gates of Agony have a really good powerhouse tag team. I think this is an easy victory for Tully Blanchard Enterprises. They really have been pushing them strong since they put them together, so it would be really questionable if they didn't win here. But I think it will be a hell of a match. Then we have the actual show itself. We have Roosh versus Dragon Lee. This is brother versus brother. I think Roosh is going to get the win here. They've really been pushing him strong with his tag team with Andrade El Idolo on Dynamite, so I think he's going to get a win here. I really don't see the reason for Dragon Lee to win, but I think it'll be a hell of a match. Then we have the ROH 6-man World Tag Team Championship match, The Righteous versus Dalton Castle and the Boys. I didn't even think they were going to even keep the ROH 6-man World Tag Team Championships. I thought they were going to kind of abandon it since Tony Khan took it over, but and since they weren't featured on the last show, but they kept it going. I'm going to say that Dalton Castle and the Boys become the new champions. I'm pretty sure Vincent isn't even signed to ROH unless he signs today or something. I could see them retaining, but I think Dalton Castle and the Boys are going to become new ROH 6-man World Tag Team Champions, considering the fact that they're actually signed to ROH contracts and Vincent isn't, so I think this is a way just to get the titles off them. Then we have Mercedes Martinez defending the ROH Women's World Championship against Serena Deeb. I think that's going to be an easy retention for Mercedes Martinez. I really don't see a reason for her to lose the title right now. Um, I could see maybe Serenity cheating to win, but I think Mercedes Martinez keeps the title. She's doing pretty well with the title, having good matches on Elevation with the title and stuff. So no reason for her to lose it. Then we have the 2 out of 3 falls match for the ROH World Tag Team Championships. FTR defended against the Briscoe brothers. Even though the Briscoes just re-signed with ROH, and I guess with AEW since AEW owns ROH now, I think FTR is going to retain the titles. They're on fire right now, putting on 7-star matches with all these titles. There's really no reason for them to lose these titles right now, so I'm going to predict that FTR retains the ROH World Tag Team Championships. Then we have Willa Yuta defending the ROH Pure Championship against Daniel Garcia. This actually could go either way. I really don't know who's going to win this match because you could easily do a rematch no matter who does win. And I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that Daniel Garcia becomes the new ROH Pure Champion. I think he could be a great Pure Champion. I think Willa Yuta is still going to be really over regardless of if he wins or loses, but I think Daniel Garcia is going to become the new ROH Pure Champion. And you're going to, I feel like, too, the title would get showcased really well since, he's in the Jericho Appreciation Society. I think Daniel Garcia being the new champion would be really good for the title. Then we have Samoa Joe defending the ROH World Television Championship against Jay Lethal. I was really on the fence about it. I really didn't know who was going to go over. But considering the fact that Samoa Joe hasn't made an appearance since he was laid out by Jay Lethal, it would really make him look weak if he came back and lost. So I'm going to say that Samoa Joe retains the ROH World Television Championship. The only reason I see Jay Lethal winning is if they want to move Samoa Joe up to the main event status and have him maybe face like John Moxley or something for the interim AEW World Championship, which I'd be entertained by, or like feud with Jericho Appreciation Society. But I really don't see that happening. I think Samoa Joe's keeping the title. Then we have what's probably going to be the main event. It's Jonathan Gresham defending the ROH World Championship against Claudio Castagnoli. Now, you really could go either way with this match, considering the fact that you just had Jonathan Gresham turn heel recently and join with Tully Enterprises. You kind of need to validate that by having a really strong win with beating Claudio Castagnoli. But you also just had Claudio Castagnoli come in recently, and he's got all this momentum behind him. I think he would squander that if he lost to Jonathan Gresham. And they're really hyping this up like Claudio Castagnoli has never won a world championship anywhere before. So I think Claudio Castagnoli is actually going to win the ROH World Championship. I actually think he could do some great things because he wouldn't be just a guy going over an ROH original. Claudio Castagnoli is just as much an ROH original as Jonathan Gresham is, and you could get some great matches with Claudio Castagnoli on Dynamite or Rampage defending that ROH World Championship. He could just go on a tear for months with this title. So I think that's going to be what happens here. So that's my predictions for Death Before Dishonor. I'll repeat them real quick. So I predict that Willow Nightingale will beat Allison Kay. Colt Cabana will beat Anthony Henry. The Trust Busters are going to win their tag match. Roosh is going to beat Dragon Lee. Dalton Castle and the boys are going to be the new ROH 6-man World Tag Team Champions. Mercedes Martinez is going to retain the ROH Women's World title. FTR are going to retain the ROH Tag titles. Daniel Garcia is going to become the new ROH Pure Champion. Samoa Joe is going to retain the ROH World Television title. And Jonathan Gresham is going to retain the ROH World Championship. Now going through quick predictions for this week's AEW actual shows. They haven't announced anything yet for Elevation or Dark, to my knowledge. I don't know what's going to take place on there. I could see maybe a 6-man tag at some point with Fuego del Sol, Dante Martin, and Matt Sydal versus The Factory, since they hyped that up during QT Marshall's and Fuego del Sol's match. I really don't know what else could happen on AEW Darks. But that's one match I see happening at some point. But yeah, as for you know, coming up this week for Fight for the Fallen, I'm really excited to see these shows because I'm going to be there live for both of them. So I'm really excited to see what they come up with. We don't have a lot of matches announced. They're going to announce a lot of them on ROH Death Before Dishonor tonight. So uh, maybe something big's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. But as for what's announced right now, we have Ricky Starks defending the FTW title against Danhausen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm going to root for it anyways. I'm going to predict Danhausen becomes new FTW champion. I think you could get some really entertaining segments with Danhausen as FTW champion, um, especially to you know, um, since he's kind of like aligned with Hook in a way. You can do some really good things. You can make it like a 24/7 belt with the way he does it. I think it could be really entertaining stuff. I really don't think Ricky Starks needs to hold on to the FTW title. I think it's kind of starting to hold him down a little bit. Like, I think he should go for the TNT title or go for the interim AEW World Championship. So that's what I would like to see. Then we have for the AEW Women's World Championship, Thunder Rosa defending against Miyu Yamashita. They had a really good match on Dark a while ago. I don't think it's going to be as good as that match. I think it'll be good, but considering the fact that AEW doesn't showcase the women's division as much as that promotion that they went to did, um, I don't think it will be as good as that one, but I still think it will be really good. I mean, I say this, but I'm going to be there live, so I could end up liking it more than a lot of other people will. But I think Thunder Rosa is going to retain the women's title. There's really no reason for Miyu Yamashita to win it. Considering the fact that this is a way for Thunder Rosa to get a win back. It's looking like Thunder Rosa may face Britt Baker again at some point for the belt, or maybe they'll do a triple threat match with Thunder Rosa, Tony Storm, and Britt Baker. I think that could be an entertaining triple threat match if they do that. I would like to see it. Um, and like I said, I don't know what else is going to get announced at ROH just before Dishonor for AEW. I don't even know if I'll see it. Um, I would like to see FTR maybe defend the ROH World Tag Team titles against the Young Bucks. That would be cool. I'd fight for the Fallen. Since I was there for the 6-star match that they had on Dynamite back in April. That would be cool. Or maybe they'll do Claudio Castagnoli will have a title, will defend his ROH title if he wins it. It's like I said, I really don't know what they're gonna do for other stuff on AEW. Another match that was announced for Rampage, which I'll be there for, is Matt Sydal versus Lee Moriarty. I think Lee Moriarty's going to win that match. I don't know if he's going to turn heel and end up joining up with Stokely Hathaway, but I think he's going to win the match again by cheating, and maybe Matt Sydal will get pissed, and it will lead to a tag match where Dante Martin and Matt Sydal team up to face Lee Moriarty and a partner that Stokely Hathaway picks for him. So that could end up happening. But yeah, that's pretty much my predictions for everything AEW coming up. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, guys. AEW Spark's going to be weird these next couple of episodes because you're going to see the episodes release at weird times. Because I'm going to do one Thursday this time around, since I'm going to end up have seen everything anyways from Rampage and stuff, so I'll just do it Thursday. I will give a warning, when it, if there's someone spoiler, since AEW, since I would be reviewing Rampage before it happens, but I'm gonna do it Thursday this week, and then the following week I'll probably do it on like a Saturday, and we'll be covering Elevation for that week, since I'm going to be there for Elevation, since they tape it a week in advance. So it's gonna be a weird couple of episodes coming up for AEW Spark, but I hope you guys stay along for the ride. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it, even though by the time you see it, ROH Death Before Dishonor would have already happened, but still, share it. People like to watch old videos anyways. And if you want to check out other stuff on the channel, We have retros up. We have retros from SummerSlam 1992, SummerSlam 2002, and coming up soon, and other retros coming up very soon. So please be sure to tune in for that. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as AEW content is concerned, and check out more content from For the Win Productions.